India is defined by economic extremes. At the top sits concentrated immense wealth. At the bottom, roughly 46% of the population navigates daily poverty. Wedged in the center of this demographic spread is the Indian middle class. State relief safely bypasses them, flowing to the bottom tiers. Yet this isolated group takes the full brunt of top-down pressures, heavy taxation and inflation, without the deep financial buffers of the ultra-wealthy. To survive this constant squeeze, an internal narrative takes over. It's a deeply ingrained cultural belief that their current financial struggle is merely a rough patch and that soon the pressure will ease up. But the math of their reality shows otherwise. Their mandatory expenses evolve at every stage of life, ensuring that their lifelong accumulation of wealth ultimately flatlines near zero. The timeline starts in the early career phase. Right away, gross earnings are shaved down by income tax, GST, and municipal fees. The middle class contributes the bulk of these collections, receiving very little direct relief in return. Whatever post-tax income survives is quickly locked into the structural costs of modern life. Securing a basic apartment or a vehicle requires an EMI, an equated monthly installment, that immediately claims a massive chunk of their take-home pay. Then comes the mandatory investment to keep the next generation competitive. Parents must finance exorbitant private school fees, college hostel charges, laptops, and mobile devices out of pocket. These overlapping responsibilities ensure that death stops being a temporary stepping stone. As one loan clears, an educational fee or a necessary upgrade replaces it, turning monthly debt into a permanent feature of their budget. During what should theoretically be their prime years for building wealth, the individual is simply treading water, trying to match their limited income against an ever-rising tide of inescapable costs. As they transition into midlife, a new layer of financial extraction begins. The heavy social expectation to host respectable weddings and fulfill extended family obligations forces massive, unavoidable cash outflows. Simultaneously, the very ways they earn a living come under threat. For the self-employed and small merchants, the traditional neighborhood business model is rapidly losing ground. Large online retail and delivery platforms aggressively siphon away local customer bases. Meanwhile, the traditional vendors' rent, utilities, and fixed operational costs remain stubbornly high. The daily reality of this phase becomes a math problem that refuses to balance. They operate with fewer customers coming through the door, climbing personal expenses, and a persistent hum of anxiety. The period of life that financial planners promise will be a stable peak is instead entirely swallowed by cultural duties on one end and aggressive commercial disruption on the other. Eventually, they hit a major psychological finish line. The children are educated, the marriages are paid for, and there is finally an open window to start accumulating serious savings. But the relief is incredibly brief. Almost immediately, the physical reality of aging sets in, bringing the urgent need for medical intervention. Securing reliable treatment for major illnesses often forces them into the expensive private medical sector, imposing a sudden, catastrophic financial burden. Late-stage healthcare acts as a continuous financial drain. It aggressively chips away at whatever meager savings the family managed to scrape together over the preceding decades. There is no quiet period of compounded wealth to fall back on. The final chapters of a middle-class earner's life are often spent managing the terror of affording their own survival. When you map out this entire timeline, you see an individual reaching the end with zero generational wealth to show for it. Their primary asset is the sheer exhaustion of managing lifelong responsibilities. Zooming out to the macro level, this constant financial exhaustion is structurally necessary. The nation's economy continues to function precisely because this massive demographic gets up every day, works tirelessly, and quietly pays their taxes. They are trapped in financial paralysis because they do what is asked. They are compliant, reliable, and responsible. Political administrations rotate, and economic policies are rewritten, yet the specific architecture of this middle-class trap remains completely static. And as one generation retires from the cycle, millions of young earners immediately step into their exact footprints. They accept the identical burdens, take on the same loans, and comfort themselves with the exact same thought: this time is temporary.